Done with sports talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now we got a big fight on May the 29th on the weekend, lightweight style against lightweight champ WBC style Devin Haney, young man, right? 25 and over, 15 KOs versus very, very experienced and very good three-weight champion Jorge Linares, 47 and 5 with 29 KOs, right? Jorge Linares is supposed to be his Devin Haney's step-up fight. This guy is good, Jorge Linares, like I said, three-division champ, and I think he's won it 2 or 3 different times, champion. The guy is good. Let's, for example, Ryan Garcia's, for example, his best win is Luke Campbell. This guy already beat Luke Campbell, So this guy is good. Matter of fact, Jorge Linares, when they were negotiating with Ryan Garcia, he was considered to be too dangerous by a lot of outlets, by a lot of people. He's too dangerous. Ryan Garcia shouldn't touch this guy yet. I mean, same thing happened to Javier Fortuna. Ryan Garcia shouldn't have touched him yet either. But we're just saying, this guy Jorge Linares is the guy, had Lomachenko down when Lomachenko was the undisputed pound-for-pound champ. He had him down and had Lomachenko in a hard fight. Lomachenko stopped him late, but he was definitely, up in that fight with Lomachenko. So Linares is a step-up fight, and we got to see what Devin Haney's going to be able to do with him. This is going to be a good fight. I would advise you to tune in to see what Devin Haney is going to do in this fight. Also, we have to note that, Devin Haney, this is Devin Haney's like 4th option, even though it's a great fight. But, 3 major fights from when it comes to Devin Haney, 3 major players in the lightweight division, all had extremely major incentive to fight Devin Haney and just didn't do it, right? And we can't forget that when you come to Devin Haney. It's, when you talk about Lomachenko, who has been of late #1 pound-for-pound champion, Lomachenko his incentive was simple. You had an opportunity to beat a Floyd Mayweather prodigy, right? Now, Gervonta Davis is under Floyd Mayweather's banner, but he doesn't fight anything like Floyd Mayweather, right? Devin Haney is considered to be a Floyd Mayweather-like. Floyd Mayweather's training for giving him tips, and he's the guy that's supposed to be the next Mayweather, and you hear that more and more. So Lomachenko had an opportunity to fight him, and it wasn't an opportunity, it was actually a tournament. Lomachenko was supposed to fight Devin Haney, while Teofimo Lopez fights Richard Carmody, and the 2 winners come in to fight for undisputed. Lomachenko didn't do that. Lomachenko went up to the WBC to ask for the Charlo belt, this franchise title, so he doesn't have to fight Devin Haney, and then he goes and fights Teofimo Lopez and loses anyway. That's what really went down. So Lomachenko, that's somebody who you're thinking like, wait, you didn't want to fight Devin Haney? Think about that. So that's Lomachenko, the baddest one, who said, I'll get Devin Haney. He should have said that. I'll get Devin Haney real quick and then go fight Teofimo Lopez, like the agreement was. So he didn't do that. So that's one. Then you get Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez fights your boy Lomachenko. Then, he only has to fight Devin Haney to become undisputed. And he doesn't. He does every other thing. He starts talking about he's undisputed because he has the franchise title, which he knows, boxing, that the franchise title was just made, this new Charlo belt thing. Right? He understood that, but he was himself, not his people or nothing. I've seen him himself talk about it like he's the champion, which made me believe, okay, that's it with you. You know damn well that that's not real belt. You have to go get it from Devin Haney. And he decided not to do that. He's fighting Kambosos instead. We could have had an undisputed lightweight champion. So those are 2 incentives, Lomachenko and Lopez. And then you go to Ryan Garcia, who fought Luke Campbell to become the mandatory for Devin Haney. He wins the fight and starts wanting to fight anybody except the champion in Devin Haney. Starts wanting Gervonta Tank Davis, Manny Pacquiao, any other person, just not to go get Devin Haney, who was what mandatories don't want to fight the champion to get the belt that they work their way up the rankings to get. You rarely see that, right? But when you see that, there's something in common. One was Canelo Alvarez at 154 pounds when Demetrius Andrade was the champion. Canelo didn't want to enforce the fight with Demetrius Andrade. He avoided Demetrius Andrade until Demetrius Andrade was stripped and Liam Smith got the title. Then he fought him. So Canelo Alvarez was a mandatory who didn't want to fight his champion, right? Now you have Jaime Munguia, who's the mandatory for Demetrius Andrade. He doesn't want to fight him. So he's talking about Malik Selecki and whatever. And he's also the mandatory for Charlo too and doesn't want to fight him. So Jaime Munguia is another mandatory. Works his way up and doesn't want to fight the champions. And then Ryan Garcia does the same thing. Now, if I was Mexican, I'd be tripping right about now. It's like, man, why is this always Mexicans that's doing this? You get all the way up there and then you want to fight the champion. And then here's where it gets tricky. The media doesn't say anything about it. Think about that. You have to find that out from here or in the internet somewhere. Those are huge stories. When a mandatory doesn't want to fight the champion, that's a huge story, guys, in boxing. Because most mandatories are the loudest people in boxing. Now, Jaime Munguia don't want to do it. Canelo didn't want to do it. And Ryan Garcia. And they're all famous as hell. No one never mentions it, which is ridiculous. But, you know, when you come to boxing, we're letting a lot of stuff go down. You know, we're letting, you know, Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, basically dope, right? I hate to be honest, but, you know, hey, damn, Canelo can have clenbuterol in the system. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have to take dope tests when he just says, I don't want to take dope tests. I just mentioned mandatories that don't want to fight. We're letting mandatories not take title fights, right? We're letting champions avoid mandatories. Right, I just mentioned that, right? Lomachenko said, hey, let me go get this franchise title instead of fighting my mandatory in Devin Haney, Canelo Alvarez. Let me get a franchise title. He started it because he didn't want to fight Charlo. He didn't know nothing about franchise. The WBC made up something because Canelo didn't want to fight Charlo. We're allowing that. We're allowing fighters that have agreements to fight, contracts to fight people, right? Or agreements, like we see Teofimo Lopez. It was an agreement, you know, basically to fight Devin Haney. You know, the winner of the tournament was supposed to, you know, get undisputed between Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Lopez, and Comey. We were supposed to get an undisputed champion out of that. We didn't, just to avoid the agreements. And other agreements, Tyson Fury is supposed to take a fight, his third fight with Deontay Wilder. We let that go a year. People just ignored it and was talking about Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. It's like boxing is ridiculous. But, you know, and the people who are not being treated correctly is obvious, right? We continue to let people do things that are not legal or not, it's no sportsmanship. Let's put it like that. Let's keep it sport. It's sportsmanship. And we allow that as the fans, right? And as the media and stuff like that. So that's what's happening. But back up to the top. I'm expecting Jorge Linares to be, people would be saying that he's not a good fighter, or he's not that awesome. And, you know, if Devin Haney wins, they'd probably start tearing him down. But make sure this is clear. Before Jorge Linares was about to fight Garcia, there was a whole different narrative about who this guy is and his accomplishments. So let's hope we see that. But by the way, make sure to tune into that fight because it's going to be good. Jorge Linares is going to bring something to that fight with Devin Haney, and it's a significant fight no matter what. So y'all check it out. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.